What is going on, guys? This is Reaper Fear bringing you another Godfather 2 playthrough part. This will be part 15, I do believe. Part 15, part 16, maybe. And before this video gets started, I'd just like to say to leave a like rating. And remember to subscribe if you want to see more. A little note on the video, I did forget to hit record when I started raiding Tony Rosado's compound. So this is when I did remember to hit record. So I hope you guys do enjoy, and forget if I do sniffle. I think I'm coming down with a cold. My brother just did go back to school, and I'm still living with my mom for right now. So he gets to bring home all those school germs, and I'm not used to it, and I never will be again. So yeah, I'm a little weaker than he is at this point. Fucking school, man, it makes your immune system go through the roof. Anyways, today is part 2 of my NFL predictions for this year. And so, without further ado, let's get right into it. The next one is the Chicago Bears. And the big news with the Bears was Brian Urlacher and Lovie Smith. And I may have already talked about the Bears, but, you know, I'll just talk about the Bears anyway. Brian Urlacher is a huge loss for the Bears, okay? He was one of the best middle linebackers in the league. I'd put probably top 3 as Ray Lewis, Brian Urlacher, and Patrick Willis. Those are the 3 top middle linebackers. And I'm sure there are probably some other people that are like, no, this guy's really good, but no, didn't really care. But the Bears really needed more wide receivers. But I mean, Devin Hester's good, and so is Brandon Marshall. I mean, they're both exceedingly good, but they don't have anything else. I mean, they have Matt Forte, but he never produces the big numbers that everyone expects him to, okay? So, it's hard to go and expect the Bears to win a shit ton of games, and that's why I think this guy has predicted him at 8-8. And I'll give the Bears a little more than that. I think they'll go 10-6 again, or 9-7. Definitely running in for the playoffs, but I don't think if they get there, they'll be a wild card and they'll probably get knocked out. But, anyways, the Bears are an interesting case because they're behind their quarterback, Jay Cutler, and forgive me if I do drink a little tea here, I'm not feeling well, so, the Bears, Jay Cutler is always an interesting case. And he needs to step up his pro game a little bit before I can take him seriously as a good quarterback. So I'll give the Bears 10-6 or 9-7. So let's move on. Let's scroll up here. Next is the Washington Redskins, of course, with infamous RG3. I'm going to say it right here. The entire season of the Washington Redskins depends on Robert Griffin III. He tore his ACL last year, I think. PCL, MCL, one of them, one of the big ones, and he was out. Did not play the last couple of games. I think it might have been in the last game that he hurt it. But they definitely have a great team. Their team is very good defensively, very good offensively. Alfred Morris is an incredible rookie. Definitely had a breakout year behind the wheel with Robert Griffin III. And I think they can do really well, better than 8-8, as long as Griffin stays healthy. I will give the Redskins 10-6, mainly because I just really root for Griffin and hopes he does well for the Redskins and all that stuff. But I think their team is very talented, and I mean, even with like the no one expected Alfred Morris to break out like the way he did. He was incredible. So without further ado, let's move on. I'll give the Redskins 10-6, so I think I'm being fair there. Alright, let's move on here. Got the Colts right after, so they're predicted to go 9-7, and I think I think the Colts will go 9-7, 10-6, just like the Redskins. Andrew Luck did throw a lot of picks last year. He will definitely throw a lot less. I don't think that it was a good idea to get rid of Dwight Freeney. They may have him back now. I'm not sure. I didn't check. I'm not worried about the turnovers. I think he'll become a much more accurate quarterback. Definitely a franchise quarterback. And the only thing that I'm worried about with the Colts is rushing, so I want to see where they go. But I'll definitely give them 10-6, 9-7, because Reggie Wayne is just not ready to give up yet. So let's move on here. We got the Carolina Panthers, infamous Cam Newton. It was a tough year for him last year. He definitely had a first hard part of the season, but after that he was amazing. They have a decent team. I wish he'd sign a couple more like smaller name wide receivers, but just some. They need some people with some good hands in Carolina, and other than that, I think they'll do fine, especially with the combination of Jonathan Stewart and fuck, what's his name? Their other running back. I completely forget now. They can. I think they have a chance to really explode this year, but then again, they have a chance to really not, because since their schedule is a little difficult. So 9-7, I think, is fair for them. Definitely a huge improvement before Cam Newton came on the scene. So I like 9-7 for the Panthers. I think that's a really good prediction. So let's move on here. Pittsburgh Steelers going 10-6. I'm not sure about this one. The Steelers are getting old. They definitely need some help. Troy Polamalu just wasn't himself last year. Ben Roethlisberger got hurt. They lost their number one receiver, Mike Wallace. And I'm definitely a fan of Emmanuel Sanders and Antonio Brown. But Mike Wallace really was a great receiver for them. He fit in really well with their schemes and everything. So I think it was very much a shame to lose him to Miami, which is like everyone's like, oh, look, Miami is like a franchise team this year. They'll do so well. And I'll say it right now, no, they won't. Tannehill needs another year in the NFL before he will perform well. Yes, he could be a record-breaking player. Not yet. Calm down. 10-6, I'd say, is a little high. I'd probably give them 9-7. They need to. They need to step up their game. They had an invincible team for a long time, but it's definitely fading a little bit. So I'll give them 9-7. I think that's a fair prediction for the Steelers. So let's move on here. New York Giants. Giants. Eli Manning. They're predicted to go 10-6. I love the Giants defense. Giants defense is one of the most potent pieces of crap in the NFL. Okay, they have Jason Pierre-Paul and just a bunch of other great pass rushers, great defenders, and it's really hard to argue with their offense except for Eli Manning. Eli Manning is not the terms of a franchise quarterback. He is the reverse Tony Romo. He's a he's a comeback king, and all he does is run receptions until the fourth quarter, and then he hucks like 80-yard passes. And there's no way that it's just, he has Vic Cruz and Martellus Bennett, I think, for tight end, and now he has a great rookie running back, and he has a great Hakeem Nicks as well. But if he just can't improve, then I will give this team 9-7. I don't think they belong in the playoffs this year. I think they'll get knocked out. Good old T. New Orleans Saints, Drew Brees. I'm not crazy about their receiving core. Lance Moore and Jimmy Graham are only the big names on it. But with Sean Payton back and everything, it's going to be an insane year. They have the Saints going 10-6, and I will say that's low. I'll give them going 12-4, 11-5. The Saints are really good. I'd say this is either the last year or second to last year of infamous quarterback Drew Brees. I think he's definitely reaching his age. He definitely showed his age last year with the game with the Falcons, where he threw 5 interceptions and no touchdowns. So, anyways, Saints are definitely going to be a high-roll team this year. Hopefully they sign another couple receivers this year just to get his targets up. it was really good to see Peyton so in his element, but he had so many targets that I think if Breeze was given the same opportunities, he would perform better, especially towards his habits of his field general habits. So let's move on here. What do we got next? We got the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are predicted to go 10-6. Bengals are my breakout team this year. I predict the Bengals to win the Super Bowl. Bengals are my favorite for the Super Bowl. Number one reason why is their defense, while it was good last year, they made it like 10 times better. Their roster is just incredible. The only thing I have trouble with is Andy Dalton, but Bernard, I can't remember his name, but between the law firm, Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, and their second string running back, their team is amazing to watch, especially with AJ Green on the offense catching a bunch of balls. And I think Jermaine Gresham really has potential, but he just isn't going to show it yet. Alrighty, so I like the Bengals for the Super Bowl. That's my opinion. If you don't agree with me, then you can screw right off, because they were a nothing team, and they've just been building and building, and now I think they're ready to crush. So let's move on. That's 25 of 34, so we're like 9 slides back, but the Falcons. Steven, yeah, okay. Yeah, the Falcons going 11-5. Now, the Falcons is another one of my favorites to go to the Super Bowl. The main reason being is that Matt Flynn, or not Matt Flynn, but, Matt Flynn? Is it Flynn? No, Flynn was Packers, wasn't he? Oh, God. Is it Matt Flynn? I really feel like it is. Give me one sec. No, it's Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan. Okay, Matt Ryan is the quarterback for the Falcons. He has the same situation that Peyton Manning has now. Julio Jones being the next Megatron. Roddy White being Roddy White. Steven Jackson now. Tony Gonzalez sticking around for another season. He has so many targets that he can't miss. It's so hard for him to miss. But they do have a tough schedule, but I think they'll do really well. I'll give them 12-4, 13-3, like last year. They're just a stellar team. It's really hard not to give them anything lower than that because they are such a good team. And so let's move on here. Hopefully we'll finish this up today. The Seahawks. 12-4. I don't think the Seahawks will do that well. I'll give them 10-6, 11-5. I don't think Russell Wilson will perform as well as he did last season. I think last season was really him proving himself. And Sidney Rice and Golden Tate are good, but with Percy Harvin out for probably a good portion of the year, they'll lose a few games, but their defense is so strong that they might be able to pull off a 12-4 record on defense alone. Wilson has a possibility to get hurt. My favorite for the offense of the Seahawks, Marshawn Lynch, always. Run with beast mode. Anyways, how much time I got left? Got like 5 minutes. Let's try to hurry this up a little bit. Alright. So I really want to finish this today. Houston Texans. Texans predicted to go 12-4. I like this. Houston Texans, all they need is another wideout. That's really all they need. Yeah, and they drafted DeAndre Hopkins. They have Ed Reed. Their defense is impenetrable. Their offense will be a lot better. Their running game has always been critical, with Ben Tate and Arian Foster being an incredible team. 12-4 is a little low. I'll give them 13-3, 14-2. So let's go. Let's see who's next here. Green Bay Packers, okay, and I like Green Bay Packers because of their signing of Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy is a great addition. He is a powerhouse. He may have a little bit of a conditioning issue, but he can work through that. 12-4 for the Packers. I'll say that's fair. The Packers are pretty much untouchable at this point. It's a little sad that they lost Charles Woodson, but other than that, they just have, their defense is always criticized, but player for player, their defense is really good, especially with people like Clay Matthews and B.J. Raji. But otherwise, I like 12-4. 12-4 for the Packers is good. Now the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos are predicted at 12-4 too. Elvis Dumervil, the loss of Elvis Dumervil was huge. I think they'll do okay without him, especially with their recent game, where they threw 7 touchdown passes. So, you know, it's been pretty incredible to watch Peyton do so well. And it was really, it was just really fun to watch Peyton have so many targets for the first time in a long time. And he was obviously doing, like, incredibly well with that many targets. I like 12-4 for the Broncos. I like 13-3 better. So, let's continue. I think they're definitely a team that will do very, very well this year. Baltimore Ravens. Why are the Ravens up so high? 12-4. No, I don't like it. I will give the Ravens a 9-7 record. They definitely don't have the team that they did. They gave Flacco way too much money. Their team is just worse now. They lost Anquan Bolden. They lost Ray Lewis. They lost Reed. They lost Paul Kruger. They lost Donnell Ellerbe. It's just, their team is, and they did get Doomerville, but their team just suffered so much in that one blow, in this one off season. I think they're going to perform very poorly. Flacco did look a little tired. He definitely made a fair share of mistakes, and I'm worried to see how that will continue if he gets on a losing streak, because he looks like one of those people that just quits the game. Okay, let's see who's next. San Francisco 49ers. 13-3. Kaepernick, I think, will do okay this year. 13-3, I think, is a little high. I would give them 12-4, 11-5, maybe. Kaepernick has a ton of targets. They did a really good job signing Anquan Bolden. I think Kaepernick is a very possible breakout quarterback. I think he could have a great year, but I think the 49ers, they didn't lose anyone. They didn't pick up anyone of significance. Their team is exactly the same. I think they'll perform exactly the same as they did last year. So, we don't got much time left. Let's move on to the next one. New England Patriots are predicted to go 13-3. He predicts this New England Patriots to go with the best record in football. This is really hard to say because I don't agree with this. I don't agree with this at all. I'd say the Patriots would go 10-6, 9-7 because of their poor receiving core, especially with the loss of Aaron Hernandez and maybe Rob Gronkowski. It's really hard to say, but he does make players better, okay? He makes them better. I don't know how. Wes Welker, under his tutelage, caught so many passes, learned so much about it, and it was just amazing to watch his just incline into the superstardom, and now he plays with one of the best quarterbacks in the league with a bunch of other very talented receivers. And while Welker might not get the targets he would get with Brady, Brady has Amendola, he has Gronkowski for maybe a little bit. We don't know yet. We're hoping at least he'll come back by week 2. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I went through all 32 NFL teams, and I hope you maybe agree with my sentiments, maybe don't. Just don't give me too much hate. Just giving my best guess. I've been looking at the rosters as well. Remember, if you like the video, like it and subscribe if you want to see more. Signing out for now.